This is Abnormal Entertainment.
I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American, fight for what's right, fight for your life.
You're listening to the No Cry Zone, a progressive political podcast on the Abnormal Entertainment Network.
And welcome to the 100th episode of the No Cry Zone, the centennial, making podcasting great again.
Indeed. It's
MIPCA.
100 episodes of us pontificating of various...
Generally being 100% wrong.
Pretty much. Pretty much. We will get to that later.
Hey, that's the perils of punditry. But not the awesomeness of alliteration.
Well, I thought it would be wonderful if we at least acknowledged and be better than the regular punditry.
You're right.
You know, hey,
Oh, God, we know
we
we're
can
losers,
make
man.
mistakes, and we're just trying to work it out the best way we can.
Certifiable.
Oh, don't worry. We have our election predictions, so
Yeah.
we're going to get down to our mistakes.
That's just the tip of the iceberg mistakes.
Yeah,
That's the part they saw. Like, oh, Titanic iceberg. Underneath, there's so many more
Right.
mistakes.
right. Now, we're joined today by Jordan Genso.
Hello there.
Has joined us. Thank
Yes.
you. A regular contributor.
Yeah, for the 100th episode. How could you miss it?
I know. I had to make it back.
You had to,
And,
regardless of the losery of the three of us.
Right, and local member of Indivisible 8, Gretchen Hertz, will be calling us shortly. She is in Paris.
France,
And, yes,
just checking.
it could be Paris, Texas, but no, it's
be.
Paris, France. as far
Could be
as I can
Paris
tell.
Hilton. Lots of room to move.
Yep. Could be.
All right,
But only you would think that.
that clip's going on the 200th episode. So I'll have to mark that. If we go back to when we started, it's actually almost 2 years ago chronologically, because our first episode was September 15th.
Our test
Of
episode?
2015. That was a test episode. And
Do you do way back music?
I do. Yeah.
I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American, fight for what's right, fight for your life.
You're listening to the No Cry Zone, a political podcast from Blue Frog Books in Howell, Michigan. Now, David Hayes, John Arking, and Rob Vedro.
And I just kicked it in the shins again.
So, of course, as many people may remember, we started off at Blue Frog Books, the great,
The dearly departed Blue.
dearly departed Blue Frog Books. It was Rob Vedro's creation. The very first show, I mispronounced your name, and you did not correct me.
Well, I give it to people because it's not that easy. You look at it, that's what it says in your brain. When you say video or Vidrosky or, that's
What am
what
I saying,
that's what I
Vidrosky?
stop.
Right.
No, I don't know who he runs with. That Vidrosky is like a choice. Hey, that's a Rob Vidrosky.
That was a Red Lobster in Florida. They called us Vidrosky.
They were just hoping you'd fight them so they could stand their ground and shoot you.
Right.
It's Vidro. That's it. Damn.
So our first episode actually went up a week later, the actual
Right.
first episode. So really, this is the 101st. I guess we kind of missed the boat.
Well, why am I even here?
Yeah, this is
Oh,
stupid.
George,
All right,
oh.
pack this in. That's,
Because there's only one way that losers can mess up their 100th episode, and it's by not doing
My name's
it.
David Hayes. I'm here with John Arking and Rob Vedro. Hello, fellas.
got it right. Now listen.
Good evening. Hi. Wow.
Do we get a take two on that?
We don't get to take two on anything.
Damn
It's a podcast.
All right, fine.
Meaning we are so unprofessional.
Yep. As I think we've just amply demonstrated.
Not professional broadcasters, but, liberal hearts of gold and well-marbled hearts at that.
And that is how we began.
Wow.
Right out of the gate.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's like show. That's like kids gather around. We're gonna watch the birthing video.
Yeah.
No, that's who wants that?
So let's again experience that opening and just
The first one.
yeah.
Yeah, do it again.
My name is David Hayes. I'm here with John Arking and Rob Vidro. Hello, fellas.
Good evening.
Hey.
Hey.
It's like the Alfred Hitchcock.
Wow.
Do we get a take two on that?
We don't.
Okay.
I'm here to tell you about my new film,
You guys.
Vertigo.
You know, we've been talking about this for weeks, getting ready for it. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Turn the microphone on. We even had a test show. Turn the microphone on the first time. We're like,
Well, you guys both gave me your the deepest voices, your radio voices, your theatrical voice that you could possibly give me. I just wanted to go opposite of that, just to show.
So you went straight Opie Cunningham, the lost Cunningham brother from Happy Days. We found him.
Chuck.
Chuck Cunningham.
We found Chuck.
Where's he? He's been running a bookstore in Michigan for like 20 years. The craziest shit.
So on that first episode, September 22nd, 2015, we had our very first mention of Voldemort.
What I think did him in the end was he is the second victim of Donald Trump, and Rick Perry being the first, in the sense that they could never get traction when he's sucking up all the oxygen in the room.
Now, in a normal election cycle, you don't have a Trump. You've got your crazies out there, the Santorums and the Huckabees and the people looking, but you don't have a Trump. You usually don't have a Carson making it this far. You don't have a Fiorina making it this far. Did Scott Walker's Midwestern blandness, his completely I'm just an everybody Wisconsinite, sell if it wasn't for these huge personalities?
His selling point is, I am a competent, conservative administrator. And that's not a message that sells in Republican primaries.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
This is you talking about sucking all the air out of the room. I think the Chief of Staff Kelly experienced that just this week. Sucked all the air out and then blew it back at him, and the general wasn't pleased.
Apparently, but he...
See, like how I'm interweaving the past with the present so
Yeah.
we don't look as stupid as we possibly... Because if we ran all these together, they'd be like, well, why would I listen to these ads? So I think we should intersperse, things we've learned along the way.
Yeah.
And notice we haven't really learned how to combat that yet.
No.
He still grabs every last headline every single night, and that is his goal. And
Is it, like I said, we keep debating this, is it a goal or is it just a thing?
Well, let's look at the DACA announcement.
Yeah.
Okay, so he tweets out that he's going to rescind DACA over the weekend. Then he shuffles out Beauregard Sessions to make the announcement.
I'll say, son.
To make the announcement, and and I was very upset that the media digitally removed his hood, and he then makes the announcement that this will be rescinded, and then Trump says, well, for 6 months, and then later that night he then says, well, we'll revisit it if Congress doesn't do it. So the whole thing was why, because if the point was to put pressure on Congress to come up with a thing, then you just took the pressure off. Now they're like, oh, if we do nothing. And
Now it's back on you.
here was my thought. What happened. In between the announcement and his saying, well, 6 months we'll revisit it, he got a call from Paul Ryan and or Mitch McConnell and said, do you want tax reform? Because if you want all the oxygen to get sucked up this fall by immigration reform, we can do that, and you can kiss your tax reform goodbye. Or do you want tax reform?
What's more likely is he got a call from Trump Tower going, we're going to have no burrito. They're like, what? What do you mean? We'll revisit this in 6 months.
Okay. You may be closer to the truth.
Paul Ryan called. What do you want? Tax? No, DACA. Wait, wasn't that kid from Land of the Lost? That's the whole conversation with Paul Ryan. It was Chaka. Oh, Chaka! Well, don't tell them to guard the pylons. I'll be there in a minute.
Yes, the Chaka legislation is much different.
The Chaka bill? Yes.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Along the way, we've tried some different things. Some different.
Look at the list here going, oh God, we're playing this?
Yeah. So, yes.
Well, as informed political pundits. How many
Is that another show?
How many of the Republican primary challengers can you name off that he defeated on his path to victory?
Almost all.
I mean, let's see. All right, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. All right, Walker, Kasich,
Fiorina.
Cruz,
Perry,
Bush.
Low Energy
Huckabee.
Huckabee.
Who's Rubio?
Rubio,
Little Marco.
Santorum.
It's only 7.
Oh, yeah, there were a lot more.
Right.
Okay, you got Jindal.
Bobby.
Bobby was
Bobby.
there. Worked at 10.
The-
Is he even alive? Has anyone seen him?
He's still in the shadows. They hear him whispering and they shove food in the corner and it disappears. So they're assuming he's still around.
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson, 11.
Because now, the one that don't really know if you, that's why it's always 16 or 17, Gilmore. Jim Gilmore.
Jim Gilmore. Okay.
Forgot about him.
Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham. So that's 13.
Yes, I had to look at my fingers. So we're missing 4.
That's
4.
These people are important.
I'm going to the Google machine. Chris Christie. How could we forget Chris Christie?
Well, he turned into such a lackey lapdog. I don't even count him.
They all did. But him more than others, yeah.
Giuliani? Was he in there?
No,
not this cycle.
Gingrich wasn't this cycle.
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul.
George Pataki.
And the Gingrich did run. He was up there, wasn't he?
Was Gingrich? No, he was 2012.
Yeah, that was last time. Let's see.
We've got to have some governor somewhere.
Was Michelle Bachmann ever in it this time, or was Fiorina the token female the whole time?
That's one we're glad disappeared. Yeah. Well, okay. We got most of them.
16.
So
that's a lot. That's more than Trump could name.
Well, don't forget, he was one of them.
Yeah.
So,
17.
Maybe we got them all.
Yeah. Okay. Forgot to count Voldemort.
Well, as we'd like to forget.
So, and then we missed a couple of people that became Death Eaters later on. So I continue my
Harry Potter.
My Harry Potter theme that John started.
So
where are Trump's Horcruxes? So if we're going to kill Trump, metaphorically, where has he hidden his Horcruxes?
Well, metaphorically, it's a metaphorical discussion.
Well, because he doesn't really have Horcruxes, maybe. So,
that has been mentioned. The Confederate statues are potentially one of his
statues,
and that's why he must protect them.
Would not taco bowls be
all taco? No, well, you have to put part of your essence in something. And if we destroy, like Tom Riddle's diary was a Horcrux.
Okay, got it.
The snake. Spoiler alert, was a Horcrux.
Right.
The original tape reel.
I think Rudy Giuliani is a Horcrux.
The PP tape?
Oh, that one.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I think Rudy Giuliani is a Horcrux, though. You kill Rudy Giuliani, you kill part of Trump's soul.
So this is something that you put part of yourself in?
Right, and you spread it out.
Do not know.
So Ivanka?
He was leading up. That was a straight man. Did you get it? Did you get it?
I was setting myself up for that joke.
I think that's too obvious. It's Lost Daughter. He doesn't talk to.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Who's the smart one? Clearly, Tiffany's the smart one. She's like, "I'll be on the French Riviera. All you fucks, goodbye."
Yeah. Daddy, where's the credit card?
Not Melania.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, there's probably some gold lion in some building somewhere.
Oh, yeah, there's got to be some gold-plated something somewhere.
Well, it's not in the Constitution. So he'd be killing himself.
Now, do you think that having so many hurt the middle of the road GOP?
Oh, yeah.
You know, just by them putting so many people out there, no one could gather behind any one person to help fight Voldemort.
I think we saw that. Yeah.
So,
but that's exactly what gave them the platform that gets them that 35% right now, 34, whatever it's at. Is that's what appealed to them, and they were the only ones that coalesced together. Everyone else,
and
shattered.
Are the Democrats going to repeat that in 2020 by having a similar 20-person size?
Yeah, they're going to mess it up
field
because that's what we do.
Yes.
Well, that worked for them.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it.
And so then The Rock becomes our candidate.
You know, I mean,
If we're lucky.
So if The Rock becomes our candidate and The Rock becomes president, don't you think that, the celebrity worshipping North Koreans would say, "Oh, we'll back down now. You got The Rock." I mean, because if they're then in love with Dennis Rodman, Dwayne Johnson's going to smile and dazzle them. That's going to end all wars.
Well, maybe we've got a plan.
Rock Hogan, 2020.
Why not Rock? Kid Rock. Get a little bipartisan.
Yeah.
That didn't work in The Event. Did you ever see that show?
No.
Oh yeah, there was a show called The Event on NBC. It never finished, but there was a liberal president, and he chose a conservative vice president who betrayed him.
Well, there was
To the
talk,
aliens.
There was talk about Kasich and Hickenlooper on the governor of Colorado.
Really?
But then they both put the squash on.
It's a little early anyway,
Right.
but it's an interesting idea.
It's an interesting concept.
Now, Kasich just today, said that DACA, the dreamer, so to speak, would have a home in Ohio. That he would make Ohio basically
Sanctuary
DACA
state.
friendly, a sanctuary state. He didn't call it that, but that's essentially what he was saying.
That's pretty cool.
So I see Kasich as interesting. Kasich he's smart because he's playing the political game right. He knows he's never going to beat Trump at Trump, so he's going to triangulate and come around the other side and be the opposite of Trump. He'll try to coalesce that opposition to Trump, but still conservative GOP. Good luck. And hopefully attract some middle-of-the-road Democrats.
See, the opposite of Trump is what we call P-Mert.
P-Mert?
Yeah, it's Trump backwards.
Oh, I see.
So he's going to
That one won't be making the 200th episode.
It will. Oh, yeah. Because you're the assumption you're going to come up with something better in 200.
Well, that's true, too.
No, P-Mert's good.
All right. So, yes, along the way, October 1st, we tried something new on the show. It's hung around for a couple episodes, and then...
now it's really important.
Yeah, so...
I want to take advantage of something that we have.
That we know.
I didn't tell John we were going to do it this week, but I want to take advantage of our real live Jew.
Do we have a real live Jew here?
We've kept him Jew sleeping. We'll wake him up. And
Are you okay?
I'm sorry, I had a Pulp Fiction moment.
I guess you did.
Quentin Tarantino Berg came out. And so John, of course, is our real live Jew. And I want to ask a world politics question to a real live Jew and get his take on it, and not what the media is telling me Jews think.
I thought there would be some brisket, maybe to start things off. But...
Well, if you do really good, we'll throw you some rocks. SEAL style.
All right.
And so Russia's building up.
You think our country is controlled by the right wing or the religious wing? Go to Israel. And much to their peril, in my personal opinion, but what do I know?
Very interesting.
All right.
That was a great Ask a Real Jew segment.
Yeah.
We're keeping that one.
We're keeping that one.
Do I get the brisket?
Later.
Lots.
You just went to Taco Bell.
Hey, don't Jew me out of that brisket.
What up, bum? Hey!
All right.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, is right.
And that's when I realized we really had no listeners, because we should have got some backlash on that.
At least the fact that you don't have a real Jew. He went to Taco Bell. At least some complaints from our Jewish listeners. What are you talking? You have an alt Jew. He went to Taco Bell.
Right. No, I still personally love your other descriptor of me as the dreidel truther.
I explained that to Sandy the other day. She's like, "What's a dreidel truther?" Well, if you don't know.
But now look, David and I both know.
Yeah.
We still haven't checked into it, have you? To make sure John was right.
I don't need to. John's the media.
So.
Oh, okay.
The story being that look it up. Who cares?
Yeah, which episode was that on?
I forgot.
It was a Christmas
episode.
I think you're right. Yes,
because that's where
the real history of the dreidel. Yes.
The history of the dreidel and the history of Hanukkah. Because you're a Hanukkah denier,
right?
Dreidel truther, which is so messed up.
Who goes to Taco Bell?
You're no real live Jew.
That's why that segment didn't last.
You're just pretending for the holidays, I think.
Get 2 holidays, man. Are you crazy?
You're that kid.
Yeah.
That kid that we always thought, I bet he's not Jewish. And he's taking off school all the time.
Right. So the show progressed along, and we swung into 2016 and went through the primary process.
Oh, God, that hurt.
We narrowed it down, and by the time we got to June, of course, by this time Trump was already
The presumptive nominee.
the presumptive nominee, certainly on his way. Everyone kind of just figured, well, it's going to be Trump, believe it or not.
Who'd have thunk it? Not us.
Yes, June 3rd, we're at the store doing our episode, talking about whatever, and in walks Agnes.
Greatest guest ever, no offense, Jordan.
Probably big fans of Gary Johnson.
Could be, although he might be too moderate.
Is there too moderate now?
This is a store for every reader, huh?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I read a lot.
Want to sit in? We're just talking politics. No, we're recording a show.
Oh, okay.
Come on in.
Okay.
We're just talking politics.
Okay.
The fun stuff. Now, what's your name?
Agnes.
Agnes, I'm David. This is Rob, and this is John.
Rob and John.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
David, Rob, and John. I had a son-in-law named John.
Not him, though, right?
It was not me.
Wasn't
Okay,
him?
no.
No.
You
He suicide.
Well, we're sorry to hear that.
Very.
It's been years, so, I mean, we got over it. But it was his choice, you know. He took a bottle of pills, so.
So that's how we met Agnes. She reminded me that I was named after her dead son who had committed suicide.
Bottle pills.
With a bottle of
but
pills.
we're over it.
But we're over that now. I mean, yikes. So Agnes seemed like a very nice lady.
She was a nice lady.
And started talking, and she was our first, and we had always hoped when we were at the bookstore, our thought was always that people would stop by and sit in.
Yeah.
It happened once in a while.
It did.
Most people just left grumbling.
Right. We went,
Those
what?
kids were fun.
Yeah. I should have.
Yeah.
But Agnes had some points to make.
Agnes had many points
Yes.
that resonated and stuck with us.
Right. So
For episode after episode.
First, we heard about her thoughts on the Clintons.
When Clinton first went in the White House, they were in a mess in Arkansas. Remember that scam they had there going? And he was a flirt, and she was just as bad on a different way, maybe. But anyway, that first thing when they got in the White House, and that one guy was killed, that was a cover-up.
Vince Foster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was on Rob.
So even though all the investigation said that that's not,
It's leaned towards the person who's got the most money and got the most influence and got the best crooked friends.
when Agnes, I want to introduce you to your new friend Rob.
He's like me. He's opinionated.
Yeah, that was striking how similar the rhetoric was between you and Agnes at the time.
At the time, I mean, I've gone down several rabbit holes, and I still do not like the Clintons.
Well, I don't have to like. Was that a turning point though? When you saw like your thoughts parroted
my craziness
coming out of
reflected
Agnes?
back?
You're
Yes, it was.
like, I'm like her,
I think Agnes was your Horcrux.
and she'll never die. So you're gonna live forever. Agnes, I think Agnes is like a force of nature. As a literary naturalist, Agnes just is.
I do believe that people are put in your life as needed to slap you upside the head every once in a while. And that one was one that, maybe the rabbit holes that I went down weren't all that truthful.
And Agnes carried a 2x4.
I still have unanswered questions.
Oh yeah,
I think everyone does and puts them aside about the Clintons. That they were political operatives, and that is their whole wealth. I mean, you cannot just put that aside. What politics does to a person, and I say that if you're in politics long enough, you are going to be entwined in scandal.
So you're saying is become a state senator for a little while, go to the U.S. Senate, then do the president for 8 years and bail. You're pretty much you're scandal free.
Yep.
You're hanging out. You're in Hawaii. You're doing
Yep.
stuff. You're going helping people in floodplain areas.
Yep.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. Well, that's not what Agnes did.
No.
Then Agnes took a different tact when she.
So we thought we had Agnes pegged at this point.
Right.
But Agnes,
Then
being
she
Agnes,
gave us a little history.
I lived through the Great Depression, the 30s, Roosevelt's New Deal, built us a new school. We had 8 rooms, auditorium, stage. We could have plays. We had music. We had everything.
And mind you, Agnes told us that she grew up in, what was it, Appalachia, pretty much.
Yeah.
Dirt poor. Along comes the New Deal, and then she said, built a school, an auditorium.
And all of us at this point were like at the edge of our seat, ready to jump on Agnes, and then
Agnes.
But do you think Roosevelt was a good president?
Yeah,
I mean-
I think he had good intentions, and he didn't take no money, did he? He was a rich man.
Yeah, he was rich.
And he was rich. He didn't need their money. That would be chicken feed. Well, he did more, and that was his free service to the country that he lived in and he loved. And his boys all went to the war. You notice he didn't keep his boys at home because he had the power to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot about a man.
Right.
He wanted them to do their part as well.
So, if only we could talk to Agnes now about Trump and his sons. But
Yeah, at that point, the family wasn't even part of the thing.
no. This is all So
But it's interesting her thoughts on Roosevelt being a rich guy that didn't need to take any money,
Right.
paralleled with this rich guy that said he didn't need to take any money.
Right, and so for her it was case closed.
Yep.
And it was more about, for her, in the discussion, and go back, if anyone's interested, it's to hear the whole discussion, it's June 3rd of 2016, that it was all about personal conduct with her. Was the overwhelming issue with her until we...
Real or imagined?
Yes, real or imagined.
Do you think that The Rock...
All right, whoa, what the... Hey. All right,
I think that's
hold
the
that thought.
Agnes alarm.
Hello?
Hello!
Is this Gretchen?
Hear me? Yes, can you hear me from the future?
Is he impeached?
No, not yet.
How far in the future are you?
Well, it's only 6 hours.
Okay, all right.
It will be.
Right, well, still. A lot can happen in 6 hours, Gretchen.
That's true.
All right, so this is Gretchen Hertz, of course, who has joined us several times in the past, and you are calling us from where now?
I'm in front of the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Oh,
in Indiana?
In South Bend.
No!
Fighting Irish! The original is where you're at.
Oh,
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Duck, Gretchen!
Oh, no.
Okay. All right, so you're in Paris, and
I'm in
you're
Paris.
giving us a call here on our 100th episode, and thank you for taking part and bringing us live to this terrorist attack. Is everything okay there?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a big city. There's always, it's police. That's all.
Chandelier just dropped in the theater. God, I know that.
All right. Well, what's going on? Can you see anything?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's a big city.
Right.
There's always
Right. Okay.
sirens.
All right. Well, we're glad it's nothing involving you, at least, until they haul you away. I guess.
American lives matter.
Drivers here, so probably somebody ran into somebody else.
Right. So, I saw that while you've been in Paris, you've been interviewed by foreign media.
I have been twice.
Your perspective as an American on Donald Trump. Tell us about that.
There was an interview from a lady from a French newspaper, and or maybe it's TV. I don't know. It was on a webpage, and she was interviewing people on what they thought about the current relations with North Korea. And I told her, the question was, "Are you afraid?" And I'm not necessarily afraid, because with Trump, you're kind of on a perpetual, in a perpetual state of fear. So it's, not much different from any regular day. But I think, North Korea has a volatile leader. We have a volatile leader. And I think at any point in time, he could tweet us into some nuclear war.
So, how did you answer that question? Are you afraid? Was it yes or no?
I said no, but that I think I'm not afraid on a day-to-day basis, but I certainly think that it's a possibility that Trump can tweet us into a lot of trouble pretty easily.
Yes, he can. And what was your other media run-in?
The other one was German TV, and apparently they have elections coming up at the end of the month. and they wanted to know what if I knew who they had a cardboard cutout of Angela Merkel, and they wanted to know if I knew who she was and what my thoughts were on her. And I like Angela Merkel. She seems like she's about as fed up with Trump as I am, and she's not she's not putting up with it. If you see the pictures from the G20 summit and so on, then all the world leaders are kind of together, and Trump's off by himself. So I think Angela Merkel, and luckily here in France, Le Pen didn't win. So I think France and Germany might just be our leaders for worldwide leaders for a while until we get rid of Trump, because he's obviously got no coherent plan.
Now, you probably disappointed the German reporters because you knew who Angela Merkel was.
That I knew who she was,
right.
And I knew something about her. But I also think, the Germans aren't, we like her because we like her political ideology, and we like that she's not bowing down to Trump. But the Germans, I think, have a different outlook. At least some of them, and she's in favor of austerity measures, and she's kind of leading, kind of an unofficial lead of the European Union, and she's taking in refugees, and there are people that don't like that.
Right. So she's got her own domestic issues to deal with, and how do you think that election's going to go for her? Is there a sense there?
Idea.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't seen any polling or anything.
Right, just curious. So
but yeah, he asked me if you met her, what would you say to her? And I said, keep resisting Donald Trump.
Okay, well.
Yes. I've got some other people. Yes. Other Americans here are like yes in the background.
Well, it's like swinging a dead cat. If you just say resist Donald Trump, it's somewhere in Paris, and someone's going to go, yes, we. So,
yeah, I know when we were on the Eiffel Tower, we were at a tour, and there's a lady in front of us that had, Trump is not my president on her backpack. She had like a pin. So I'm like, oh yeah.
So is that the modern day version of the Canadian flag now for American travelers? They used to put Canadian flags on their backpacks to be like, now they just put Trump's not my president, and that should keep you safe.
I think so.
Yeah.
I used to say I was Canadian abroad. Yeah. I used to also say I was from Brighton too.
Instead of Owl, yeah. So Gretchen, even though you're overseas, you are a member of the Indivisible 8 group, and and I understand that you and another Indivisible group have teamed up, and hopefully there's going to be a visit here to Michigan soon of somebody pretty important.
Yeah. So we, the 8th and the 11th, have invited Keith Ellison to come to Michigan to speak to grassroots progressives. And the idea was we wanted to have a free evening, so we're not going to charge people, it's not a fundraiser. We want to invite people in to hear what he has to say to progressives and maybe unite some of us, because I know out here in the field, well, not out here, but back in Michigan, whenever we have an indivisible meeting or talk with progressives, there's a lot of people still angry about Bernie. They're angry that Keith Ellison didn't win outright for the chair of the DNC, and there's just a lot of anger and upset. And I'm hoping that he can come in and talk to us and maybe direct us against what I think is what should be our real focus right now, is resisting Trump and all the Republican legislators that support him.
So, and when was that going to happen again? It's still being worked out?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
So we were able to get past the scheduler. In fact, Brenda Lawrence called him. Brenda Lawrence called him directly, and he's agreed to do it. And he understands that there's a need for it in Michigan. Bernie won our primary here. Trump did not win the Republican primary in Michigan, so it's an interesting demographic. 80,000 plus people in Michigan voted on election day, but did not fill in anything for president. So they voted the down ballot races, but they didn't vote for president. So obviously there's some anger and upset there. And then there were 130,000 people who voted in the Democratic primary that did not vote in the general. So, some interesting numbers, and the race here in Michigan was very close with Trump for president, and I think that if Ellison can come in and try and unite some of us, maybe we'll get a little bit better focus.
All right. Well, David has a question for you.
One question.
Oh, yeah.
Have you picked up that issue of Charlie Hebdo yet?
No, not yet.
If you do, get to, I'll pay you back.
All right.
All right. Well, Gretchen, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking time while you're overseas and giving us that perspective. And we wish you safe travels home. Thank you for joining us on our...
Where's Rob?
Oh, I'm right here. Keep us updated on that Ellison. I would go to that in a second.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear what he has to say to Michigan. I think it's very important to gather up all the people who did not vote here in Michigan and all over the country, and I hope the Democratic Party is working that way.
We've got people, and I'm thinking Ann Arbor, Indivisible, and some other Ann Arbor groups that are kind of going after Stabenow a little bit for not being liberal enough and not following their agenda 100%. And I think we need to back off the people that may agree with us 90% of the time, and let's put our real focus on Trump and his Republican agenda.
Indeed. We have to we cut through the shit and unite. I mean, what the hell? So, all right. Well, hey,
all right.
Gretchen, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your trip, and we'll see you soon.
I'll definitely keep you updated on Ellison. I'm very excited.
All right, absolutely. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, bye-bye. All right, very cool.
That was a fun visit.
Yeah.
The sirens we couldn't have asked for. It was perfect.
That's right.
Trump sending people after him.
She spoke ill of him.
Right,
So-
and he heard with his great big ears and his little hands.
Okay.
I was thinking about this over the weekend that David had brought up, I think it was the last couple shows, maybe it was that one that we did by ourselves where, what do you do if your neighbor is vehemently against you and your ways, and
Right.
I basically came up with, good fences are good neighbors, and you just live your life in a way that looks appealing to him, and he will slowly but surely, or her, slowly but surely go, my life sucks, and what's this guy doing that I'm not doing? And it does come down to the message is, the Trump is sucking all the air out of every news cycle with all of his craziness, and really still the Democrats, our side, whether you're a Bernie, whether you're a straight ticket Democrat, we still have, no real rallying cry. I mean, there is no thing out there that we can just go, well, look, this is what we want to do, and this is how we've been doing it, and you are benefiting from it, and why aren't you on our side? Because this side is not doing those things. And we always turn it back to Trump, and I think that is the ultimate goal by that administration, is to always turn the conversation back to resisting Trump, and then we look like we're not doing anything for our side. We look like we are just crybabies at that point to the other side. We look that way to them. And it's not a beneficial thing for resistance to just continually put it out there that we don't like what you're doing. And it's kind of what we were saying about the GOP before they gained power. Well, what else do you have to show us so that we can be on your side?
Right. Well, we've seen how they govern now, but I think the flaw in that plan is there's no rallying cry. There's the long before we talk about the fracturing of the Republican Party, there has been a fracturing of the Democrats. There was the Clinton wing, the established Democrats, and the Sanders super progressives. There's a wing now of people who just can't call themselves Republicans, but Democrats are closest, so we'll go with them because I need a party to get things done. Mm-hmm. That's another whole wing right there of alt-Dems, I guess. I don't know what you would call them. But they're like, I can't abide half of this Republican stuff, but I don't really believe in all the Democrat stuff, but you're closest. Mm-hmm. So that's we have who's running for? There's someone running for the state, the 8th district here that did that. Ex-military lady. I can't remember.
Well, yeah. So Alyssa Slotkin.
That's it.
Yeah, because she's the announced candidate that the DCCC recruited from Washington D.C. to come run here in the 8th district, and that's where she's said that she's tried to make herself out as a centrist, that she's got her national security background, but she's also got progressive values, but it's where everybody who just wants good governance needs to get behind. When the general election comes, you just need to get behind the best option. That's all it is. Everything prior to that, fight it out in the primary, whether or not they should be far left or centrist. For a district like this, I think centrist is more
for district, but I think as a general rallying cry, there's nothing. That's the hard part. We can go district by district and hash it out in the primaries, but that's exactly what fractured. The primaries fractured on the Democrats, and this the idea of it's just like
the police are here. Wow,
it's the train.
They got here fast.
It's hi, John. Oh wait, no,
I'm not a real Jew. Don't worry.
you're safest of all. And what we're looking at is really we're down to a no party system at this point. People call themselves things, but we all have this idea that due to the internet or what have you, or whatever modern convenience we're talking about, we have to agree with our political leaders 100% on everything.
Well, and that's where
or nothing.
Well, yeah. And the existence of these third parties really helped to break down everything else. Because to me, there's a lot of the far left progressives say, the Republicans and Democrats are two sides of the same coin. No, the Republican Party and the Green Party are two sides of the same coin. They both work to further the ends of the Republican Party. The Green Party never is going to get elected. They never have to walk the walk. They can just talk the talk that helps the Republicans when the general election comes around. And so once people stop having this fantasy that third parties are going to be a solution to anything, you just stick with whatever party you have the best chance of turning into what you want to see, and you put your efforts into that. To have these these other options on the ballot that are just going to have no influence on the outcome other than to help the worst possible option, then I don't think the country as a whole is better off for it.
Well, no, but you're just in your statement, you made this impossible scenario, because you can't tell people to do that, because of course then they won't do it. You can't show them how to do that, because then you don't represent their beliefs. Even in your argument, you said the left progressive left side of the party. Well, that's a party within a party. The Democrats are three parties right now. Mm-hmm. The Republicans are three parties right now. Then you've got the Libertarians, who have a couple of parties, and the Green guys, who are useless. So we essentially have a 7-party system, or 8, that we're dealing with.
And interesting,
and they all want their own
you mentioned
stuff.
The Green Party. I just saw a press release from the Green Party. They are protesting today outside of Senator Peters' office because of legislation he has concerning the effort to boycott Israel. And he's put forth legislation to basically make that a little bit harder. And so, again, you have sides that agree on a lot more than they disagree on. Mm-hmm. And yet, so we disagree on this issue. Peters and the Green Party, they disagree over, Israel policy. And yet you're going to go protest outside his office instead of maybe, lobbying him. Instead of trying to reach out to him at town hall meetings, and saying, hey, we'd like to inform your opinion about Israel policy. And I'm not talking about that. I'm just using that. It could be any issue. But this is what happens. This is my issue. And even though we agree on 9 of the 10 other issues, this one issue is the one I'm going to fuck you on. Mm-hmm. Even if you going down means Herr Trump is now our president.
Well, and if the Green Party wanted to benefit the Republicans, would their actions be any different? No. Those are the exact same things they would do if they wanted to help the. So if the actions are the same, indistinguishable, then I mean, because you have that photo of Jill Stein and Mike Flynn and Vladimir Putin sit down at dinner, and then all of Jill Stein's actions in the 2016 election were for the benefit of Donald Trump, that then leads a rational person to at least be open to that as a possibility. I mean, it's a conspiracy, of course, and conspiracy theorists are by default, irrational, but there's you got to have some way to disprove or make it out as though it's not a solid conspiracy theory.
I was going a little bit more homegrown, is to get to real voters, to get people united, you have to have something that will create that spark, that thing that they really want. Gretchen gave us a book, which I have been reading. How to Create a Revolution. It was a guy in Kazakhstan, and they started this thing, and it all started off with a very, they liked their punk rock music, started off with a rally around this punk rock band, and, it energized the crowd, and they were able to move forward by being almost guerrilla political foes. They would put their fist up and spray paint their fist on everything, and it was driving the leadership crazy. He then started teaching other groups, so it came to Israel. I'm glad you brought that up. Israel, very, very staunch, very conservative populace. But one thing they do like, it's a dairy product that I can't remember the name of, but it's smoother than cottage cheese, but it's very much like cottage cheese.
Pork?
Israel had a law in place, basically with a price cap on this product. They finally got rid of this product, so one guy basically fought them, saying, "No, we are not going to do this," and he created a following around this dumb little product, saying, "No, we're not going to do this. We won't buy your product for 30 days until you lower the price back down to what it was." And they eventually won, because it was something that everyone can gather around, left, right, middle. We all like this thing. The price is getting outrageous. Let's make our stand here. And they're able to kind of use that as their stepping stone on to bigger and better things. How far they got, I don't really know, but I just thought that Bernie was closest to this phenomena that the Democrats are missing. Is he went at healthcare, went at education, and went at wages. I mean, those are things that. Yes, Jeff.
Case in point, I'm Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
So I'm just announcing who I was in class. That he was the closest thing to a solution for your wing of the party. The other wing of the party.
No, I think.
Hold on. No, the other. We're fractured, man. We don't have the same rallying cry. That's the flawed point, I think.
But look at all when healthcare went so bad, you even have Republicans out arguing against Trump's healthcare. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's my general point, is you have to get to issues that matter to both sides. But wages, healthcare, education.
You have to attack the reasons for the issues, because the reasons are different. Whether, like Jordan, like the Green Party and the Republicans are having the same outcomes, the same outcomes would be had, for example, for like healthcare, for example, if people were rational. Between conservatives and progressives, they would attack it from different sides for different reasons, though. And we put way too much emphasis on the reasons. It's the reasoning that kills us all.
Right.
Don't murder people. Well, we don't murder people because it's the wrong thing to do. They don't murder people because they pay taxes. Whatever the thing is, we're coming to the same consensus, but we focus on reasons and how to get there as opposed to getting there. And I think that's rhetorical, persuasive strategy since time immemorial to separate people. Sure. And we're not going to get around it. So what we have to do is use it and realize that we have a 12, 15, 30-party system, essentially, right now, that everyone's trying to please everyone else. And so that's when a guy that holds 32% of the nation can become the president. Because, I only got 30, she's only got 25, he's only got 17. It's not mano a mano anymore.
Right. The difference, though, when you look back at in 1992, when Clinton won the first time, he won with less than 50% of the vote, and yet what makes this so galling in 2016 was that had well over 3 million extra votes for Clinton, Hillary, and yet Trump still wins, electorally, and that's the system we have. That's the system we have. What you're advocating for is a parliamentary system.
Yeah.
Where parties would form coalitions and can do the rest. It'd be nice. I think that modern realities should push us in that direction, but let's face it, that ain't going to happen.
Right.
This is the system we have, and I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Yeah, same thing with what do they call those things when you win enough of them, you become president?
Electoral votes.
What's some things called, Jordan? And so like our electoral system, a vote in Montana counts 4 times as more as a vote in California in this electoral college. And so
as the framers intended.
Yes.
Exactly, because there was no one in California when they came up with it. And who knew?
There was Mexicans and Indians, but clearly they didn't count.
No real people.
Right. So
they didn't even have a language for private ownership of land, dummies.
Okay. All right. So I want to finish this Agnes thing. So here we go. Let's see. Now this is Agnes talking about Obama.
Go out somewhere else.
Okay.
There's plenty of beaches where there's people walking down in the nude,
There's been no Obama scandals of that nature.
Obama?
None of his scandals.
Well, his scandals are... Well, he was in Vegas when the men were burning and the ambassador was burning. He was in Vegas then. So they have rooms in Vegas they can rent for $1 a night.
You're intimating that the president was renting a room for $1 a night?
No. But they probably gave him one for free because of his status,
They're in Benghazi.
Yeah.
He's in Vegas, renting Hooters.
Well, and when you called her out, you go, "Are you intimating that the president rented?" Oh no, he got it for free. You're like, okay,
because of his status.
Okay, and you're just like, that was at the point I think we were both like. And the thing was, when I went back to listen to this to edit these clips out, it's so funny because we were trying to get rid of Agnes for about 25 minutes. Okay, and pretty much, and she was not going. And it was everybody like, okay, well, thanks, Agnes. You know how you give those cues. Right. All right, we're done here. No, Agnes wasn't done. No. So it was an interesting glimpse into the mind of a Trump voter. And that's back in June of 16.
It should have told us something.
It damn well should have. But it didn't.
She was like a yard sign. She was like a million yard signs that we just didn't notice.
Right. So by the time we...
I want those. I still want the $1 room. If the president can get one for free, I should be able to get one for at least $5.
Yeah, she did ask for that. That's true. Now, for a while there, in the summer, we switched locations. We went to the comic book shop in Brighton.
Yep.
Our good friends Chris and Shalini were able to host us there, and we appreciated that very much. And on July 8th, we had a discussion. We were talking about guns and police. The Philando Castile shooting had just happened in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. There was the shooting in Louisiana that had occurred. And so we were talking about the
single cigarette chokeout.
Right. So we were talking.
That happened.
Wow. That sounds like a Jay Giles song.
Yeah, it's the B-side of Photograph.
So, anyway, so we were talking, and we had another guest actually drop by, a gentleman by the name of Barry Wynn, African-American gentleman, and he stopped in, and we had this discussion.
And he schooled us.
And it was a very interesting, discussion to have about guns and, I guess, how they work out.
We made quota for Livingston County again. We got the Jewish guy, we got the African American guy. We're gonna,
Indian woman, you don't know who I am?
well, I was waiting for you to declare. I don't know. I'm not going to cast aspersions. What do you do? To be honest, if I see a white person carrying at a public event, I tend to move on. Because personally, I feel threatened. Because I know when I've walked up on someone and they look at me just terrified. And that's a chilling effect of all of this. Because the laws weren't written with you in mind. And
and it doesn't work the other way. I mean, you can have people walk. We have a business downtown here. People could walk with rifles on their backs. I don't know the open carry laws exactly here in Livingston County, but open carry. So we can have a big festival coming up. We are in a political time right now with elections, so somebody could want to make a statement over the weekend with 10,000 people and walk down the street with a rifle on their back. And if it's a white individual, there's going to be, hey, yeah, support this guy. If Barry shows up with a rifle strapped to his back and wants to do the exact same, walk the same way, have a sign in front of him that just says, I'm here to support my Second Amendment rights, how many police officers are going to be getting phone calls? There's a man with a gun. There's a black man with a gun. There's an African-American shooting up. No shots to be fired, but that's what the phone calls are going to come through. And it's sad that I can say that and don't feel like I'm embellishing.
Well, and that's another issue. We just seem to love guns here in our area. I grew up in a community where, or come from a community, I didn't grow up there, where they hunted. I'm from Tennessee originally. I grew up in St. Louis, but from Tennessee originally. My grandfather kept a rifle, kept a shotgun and a rifle in the corner of the house. It was a tool, like a hoe or a rake or anything else.
Right.
My father did carry a pistol, but again, it wasn't a big thing.
Can I say something as a mom in the whole, guns going crazy in schools and things like that? I took my kid to a new daycare, and they have a sign up at the front of the door that this is a peanut-free zone because peanuts are the enemy, right? Because peanuts make certain kids very ill.
Right.
But when I asked the day we were signing up if it was a gun-free zone, the director looked at me like I was crazy. She had never been asked that question before. And I'm thinking, no offense to the peanuts, right?
So funny.
But could you potentially maybe check that out with your corporate office and just give me some kind of green light that yes, this is a gun-free zone? Because I know that you don't get asked that, but where we live, you get dads running into daycares with guns in their pockets and it's no big deal.
Anyway, interesting discussion.
A really long discussion.
It was. That was another good discussion. Ironically, tragically, that occurred the afternoon of the shootings in Dallas that evening, where the 5 officers were murdered.
And it was right after she alluded to people going into schools. That was my daughter's school.
Oh, was it?
It went into lockdown because that guy just walked right in, and he had it on his waist, and the principal saw it and basically called the cops right then, put her school in lockdown. So that means everybody who's working goes into their little secret hidey holes, created havoc, and it came out that he was still angry that happened. And no regard for any of the other children, parents, teachers, administrators, police officers who had to get up off their regular beat to go and deal with him. He was still angry, and I think he still is trying little things like that. And this kid is going to grow up like that, with that father pushing the system so he can have guns in school here in Livingston County. And it's a scary thing. I mean, and thank God the school board came out with a policy and said, no, this is what we're going to do. We don't know if you are a terrorist, if you're a good guy, a bad guy. We have to do this.
Yeah, schools don't have any other choice but to treat it like that.
Well, because if you think of it as like the peanut-free zone, that's not going to prevent somebody from bringing peanuts. But if somebody sees that you have peanuts there, they know immediately you should not. And so there's now a problem. As soon as they see it, they know that there's a problem. That is the way it should be treated with guns as well. If you see someone with a gun at school, you should immediately presume that they are a problem because you have to err on that side.
Yep.
Right. Well, to say the least. So that was a long, complicated issue, a very good conversation with Barry Wynn, who had stopped by. And that was just a little piece of what he said, but I thought the piece that he said about, it was a tool. When he grew up, it was just a tool. Right. I mean, it was just something you had. It wasn't a big deal.
In lots of communities, it still was a tool.
Right. But he understood, and we couldn't include it in this because it went on. It was a long conversation, very complex. But the one thing that he said, was that as an African American man, he knew, and he knew that his kids knew, that there was a sense that they could not enjoy the same rights as a white person with a gun. That they had to. There was an extra special level of care that they had to take because of the numerous examples that we've seen. You know, and it's funny because right now, currently, the big outrage, of course, on the internet, the viral video of the nurse in Salt Lake City getting arrested. If I don't know if you saw that, where she refused to do the blood draw, and the cop just goes ape shit and arrests her, and he's just, he's clearly unprofessional to say the least.
Right.
And so people, it's interesting. I've seen people who they will criticize Colin Kaepernick for taking a knee. They will, I support our police officers when there's Philando Castile or whatever, but they're outraged that this woman was treated this way. And you go, well, I wonder if it's because she's white.
There's twofold thing there. She's white, but she's also a nurse.
Yeah. Right.
And for good reason, nurses and doctors should be on these pedestals as well, They're not enough. And if you're willing to do that job, and if you're willing to stick this particular nurse, who's a rock star,
right?
I think that's even in the article, standing by, the professionalism of her station.
Well, I mean, she called the hospital's attorney, who's on the phone, and you couldn't have laid that out any better. When the attorney says, "You're making a mistake. Stop blaming the nurse. This is our policy."
But I'm not going to go.
I think the white.
It's tempting to go to the white thing right away, but the nurse thing is.
I'm not saying the way he treated her. I'm saying the reaction.
Yeah,
to
me
it.
too. Me too.
Okay, I think that at least the overwhelming reaction, I think, of people that are outraged by this. If you're outraged by that, why are you not outraged by Philando Castile? Why are you not outraged when it's an African American who is treated that way by a law enforcement officer? And we've seen numerous examples. Now, we have been, generally see it, I think, for the way it is when those incidents happen. But, look, Philando Castile, we saw this video where this gentleman was legally carrying a weapon. He did everything you're supposed to do, and he's dead. And you go, why? I mean, he told the officer, "I have a gun." The officer still overreacted.
Right.
But
I don't think we can discount. I agree with you that the outrage because of her color is there, but I don't think we can discount the nature and station of it too.
No. Those are factors too.
Don't discount that because he stopped for a traffic violation. I'm not mitigating anything.
No.
He stopped for a traffic violation. She's refusing. She's doing her job.
Right. But the thing is that what it was, it's an unreasonableness.
Yeah.
Of the law enforcement officer basically saying, "I really don't fucking care what you're saying.
Right.
Just do what I tell you to do, and I don't give a shit whether what you're saying makes any sense. I don't give a shit whether you have a point. All I know is I have a badge and a gun, and I want you to do what I want you to do." Now, mind you, when a police officer tells me to do something, I'm doing it. I mean, that's just the way. I'm a coward. Sorry. But I mean, also, I'm not one that's predisposed to be antagonistic towards a law enforcement officer. But of course, I've never been in a situation where a law enforcement officer has been completely unreasonable.
You're also not a trauma nurse. That this is nothing. Like someone isn't spewing blood all over the place.
Right. I mean, in the scheme of things,
you're cool and calm and collected.
By the way, did you know that she's an Olympic medal winner?
No.
She's an Olympic medal winner. I read.
Good God. And they picked the even worse person. Turns out she's got 700 foster kids. What?
I know.
And all of them are happy.
Well, and I think the last thing I saw was he finally got, he was taken off the blood draw program with the police department, and now.
You think?
Yeah. He's still, but he was also a paramedic, and I guess they suspended him from his paramedic duties as well, so. They're working their way to me, I think you've watched the video, it's pretty clear the guy's out of order, shall we say.
True.
So, speaking of out of order...
good God.
Yeah.
We're going to do this part?
So, elections rolled around, and we were feeling pretty good. Pretty good we were.
Oh, yeah. We believe that in too. See, our in-house polling was obviously off.
Oh, yeah. Something was wrong.
Because we talked to one Agnes and ourselves.
What's your? Can I see your polling sample?
we think this.
My dad said, I don't know, so that we're going to put him on.
Oh, God almighty. Okay.
This is our last podcast before the election, so let's get predictions. Now, should we do percentages or electoral votes, or what do you think?
I'm gonna do electoral vote.
Okay.
I'm saying Clinton 300.
Okay. You're gonna give her 300.
I'm gonna give her 300.
270 to win, so 300's a clear electoral victory.
Clear electoral victory, and I'll give her a popular vote. She's gonna be over 50.
Okay.
Over 50.
Over 50%.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Rob?
I think she is going to get less than that. I think with this email thing, it's going to be closer than what they were saying last week. I'm going to go with 290 and still 50-50 on the popular, which is going to just rip our country apart. Like, just that alone, just that there's half of the voters out there that believe the Hillary, believe all that stuff, won't go do the research. That's the problem.
Okay.
I see.
I'm going to go 280. I think she'll win electorally. I think we're going to have a narrower electoral win, but a larger popular vote win. I think it'll be 52-48, 53-47, something along those lines, roughly, once you factor in Johnson and the rest. But it'll be in that range. I think she'll have a pretty good popular vote, but electorally it'll be good. She'll get over the 270.
Okay, yes or no? Flip the Senate.
That's a tough one. I'm going to say no.
Rob?
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say yes. Flip the House.
Oh, no.
No.
No, but some seats change.
Yeah. No, it'll narrow it. It'll probably narrow it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel bad about my Senate thing. I think she might. I shouldn't have.
You can't. No. You got to go find your original vote.
No. You know what? I want to change my vote.
Make a lane. And we've just a microcosm of the hypocrisy of the American voter.
The good thing is I can just re-edit this later, depending on the returns.
The fix is in. It's rigged.
It's rigged.
This podcast is rigged.
Rigged to make John sound good, no matter what.
That's a lot of rigging, man.
Well, you got a lot of time.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I was closest, but then I wanted to change my prediction.
So that makes Rob the winner. If we're going with intent.
And I think it does kind of point out that how out of touch we are with half of our country.
Yes.
The Democrats, the people that beat us. I don't know. I've been thinking about this. Is the racist card, the immigrant, the other came up so fast in that primary. You know, that was how Donald basically came out and how he got to the top of the news cycle was by calling the Mexicans rapists. And I think that is a dog whistle that works for whoever wants to use it. You know. Anytime that it does, then it comes out. I mean, and it's happened throughout time. And what I keep trying to say is, if we were all to unite, we would be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, there are things out there that can unite even the Republicans and the Democrats together.
Well, I know we did unite as Democrats and progressives. So our final best of bit is from January 21st. It was a special edition. This is from the March on Lansing.
Welcome to the No Cry Zone pregame show. Yes, this is the pregame show. Very good. We are on the lawn of the state capitol in Lansing, Michigan. Yes. And the rally here is about to get underway. About another hour or so will officially begin, but already quite a crowd assembling. Are we here in opposition of Donald Trump, or are we here to stand up for what we believe in?
They're not mutually exclusive.
Okay. So, because there's a lot of people out there that would tell you that they are.
Well, there's a lot of people out there that are wrong. Much like, presidents can do two things at once.
What?
I can have two thoughts at once. I am also hungry and have to pee. That is four thoughts that I'm doing right now.
This is going to be a very short pregame. All right, well, as as you can hear, an amazing crowd, amazing energy, and actually we had a chance to talk with gubernatorial candidate Gretchen Whitmer.
Let's learn from this election. Let's talk to people. Let's engage in a conversation because more people are suffering than we ever knew. Let's make our advocacy intersectional. Let's look at one another in this beautiful, diverse crowd and say, all right, we're in this together, and let's stick together and fight together.
That cheering was for me.
Yes, it clearly was. But just
I
a little sample.
I got to pee and I grabbed a sandwich and everyone was like,
I had to go set up there early, get the tent all ready and everything, and I thought there would be like 12 people there. I really did. I was like, here in Michigan, are you kidding? There's going to be... And then just these hordes and hordes of people came out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
By the time you guys got there was probably 1,000 people already, and it got up to like 15, didn't it? It was crazy.
Big. It was big. I think the last number was like 12.5 or something like that.
Yeah, it was an amazing day, and you saw that that united spirit, and really, I mean, it really was, I think, more opposition to Trump than it was coming together. But there was still, I think, there was this common thing. But more than that, what I took away from that day, and I still hold it to now, is it was sort of like, we're not alone here. Okay, I'm not fucking crazy. There are other people that know that this guy's an idiot and it has to be stopped. So, well, here we go.
And, things are moving along. Bob Mueller's doing his thing. That's moving forward.
Bobby Three Sticks.
Although, interesting article. I saw some stuff from Seth Abramson, who's an investigative reporter, talking about how Trey Gowdy. Now, Trey Gowdy, you remember, used to run the House Intelligence Committee. Now he's running the Oversight Committee, but he's the de facto head of the House Intelligence Committee after Devin Nunes had to recuse himself because he ran over to the White House with classified information. So Trey Gowdy, by the way, has been in the running to get both the FBI job and to get the AG's job. Now, Trey Gowdy is out there saying that he thinks Jeff Sessions should have to testify to the House Intelligence Committee about the Trump-Russia stuff. Sessions says, I can't testify because I've recused myself and I'm a witness to the Mueller investigation. So I can't testify. So Gowdy has been pushing forth this narrative through statements and otherwise that has been trying to push Sessions out to give Trump a reason to fire Sessions so that Trey Gowdy could become the AG. If Trey Gowdy becomes the AG, he can then just directly fire Mueller. Okay? Which
is even cheesier and crazier.
I don't know. I think Trump seems intent on finding a way to do this.
Yeah, prediction time.
Stupid as it will be.
Predictions. You think he will?
Wow. Shit. Who invited this guy?
Well, we'll start with Jordan. What's your prediction?
No, I don't. I would love for Trump to get rid of Sessions just because he's the worst attorney general we've ever had.
Well,
and even if the reasoning behind it was clearly malicious, I want Sessions gone. So I want Trump to. But I don't think he's going to. I don't think they're going to get rid of Mueller. So, I mean, at least on those two, I predict he won't.
I'm with Jordan on that one. He made a mistake with Comey, and now he knows it. And he's not going to pull a Comey, too.
So tempted to go against you.
It's standard Trump procedure to not learn a lesson.
Right.
But this is a big lesson. This was like, not even he could deny this one. Like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to try. I think he is going to try to get rid of Mueller.
Because it doesn't stop the investigation, though. Like, there's a team investigating. It's not just one person. And so even if you get rid of Mueller, it doesn't end it. It's not...
Well, and what we're seeing now is the Steele dossier, which supposedly has the PP tape, but much more, by the way.
Yeah.
They've been trying to discredit that from day one, and yet what we're hearing now, what we're seeing, and confirmation is that foreign intelligence agencies, European intelligence agencies, they've pretty much all verified this. And you know what? If it stops on this end, it'll get out on that end.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's this thing called the internet.
Really?
And someone will digitize the PP tape at some point.
God, where is it?
Oh, jeez, I have never been more interested in someone else's urine ever than this.
I think
even like at camp and the kid above you's peeing the bed, you're interested in it because you're like, how is it going to get down to me? But no, not even then. This is I'm fascinated with someone else's urine. It's horrible. I hate this country sometimes.
Yeah. I think Trump is trying every single day to try and end this investigation, and he has cooler heads prevailing every single day, calming him down, telling him he can't. And there will be a breaking point.
But the thing is that look, those who are those heads, so to speak? But
Chief of Staff Kelly
but
now.
The point is, so Kelly is someone who he won't be relatively negatively impacted by the Mueller probe.
No,
he'll be able to put on his parachute and bail out of that thing when he needs to. So the thing is Trump's the one who knows. At the end of the day, he's fucked.
Right. Well, see, what I think he's got, what he's got people like Kelly snowed. Kelly's like probably believing his president, like, oh, you didn't, nothing in there, good sir, moving on. And he's working for because if he doesn't believe the president, then why are you doing there?
Right.
Why are you even working?
I wonder.
I think he's a stopgap. I think both those generals, or all the generals that are in there, are being stopgaps to his crazy. I really do. I think that they have a duty to America that they are withholding upon themselves for the benefit of America.
Wouldn't it be great if they all got together and did a reality show after this is all over, and they're just hanging out like, you will not believe what we had to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you thought it was bad. I mean, God, I was holding small Filipino boys over his head as they urinated onto him, and we couldn't talk about it, but it kept him cool, kept him calm, not blowing anyone up. It was horrible.
Yeah. Well. Okay.
And I was even weary of Tillerson. I still am, but he is even, Donald speaks for himself. The State Department speaks for America.
Right. Maybe there's a reason Tillerson doesn't talk much, because he's just like, if I start, I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
And it's all good. It's all good. It's like when you Dad, you need help? No, I'm fine.
Well, it's funny. Look at the situation with Korea. Our tough talking president, who was I'm going to show this guy. And I'm sorry, Kim Jong-un has completely bent Trump over his knee. And played him. And at the end of the day, Trump has no better options than the three previous presidents before him. And he has less better options now anyway. It's been a lousy... To be honest, our policy towards North Korea it's been a terrible policy. It's been a terrible policy for 20 years. But Trump's absolutely lack of willing to deal with reality and instead want to deal with the schoolyard tactic, which is blown up in his face.
I thought, though, at the end of Bill Clinton's administration, they did have a framework in place that was going to be better for our relations with North Korea. But then when Bush got elected, he
put him in the axis of evil.
Yeah, and he ended it all. And so, had Gore won in 2000, I don't think we would have been where we are at right now. I do think...
This would be a much different planet.
Well, no, but I'm just with regards to North Korea. I don't think North Korea was inevitable. I do think that George Bush's decision to not follow through with what Clinton had said.
And if I remember the Clinton framework, it was basically we will just pay them.
Yeah,
pretty much was, which in the scheme of things, why not?
But see, that's what started the Bill and Il bromance, though. Kim Jong-il liked Bill Clinton.
Bill and Il.
It was the Bill and Il bromance. And so, remember we had a journalist hostage?
Yeah.
And I'll send Bill Clinton over and we'll let him go. All right, well, here I am. Here, give me my people. And they let him go. They're paying us not to blow up the world.
And those should have been warning signs that that's what they're after, is the attention of the world. I mean, they've been looking for the attention of their own little quadrant of the world for centuries, and now they have America bowing down to them.
Well, look, they won. He threatened Guam, and we were like, don't do that.
Well, he threatened Guam because he knew that half of America didn't know Guam.
Well, there's that too. That's true. Then he flew a missile over northern Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, and when I read that, I was like, oh shit. And still there's nothing, because at the end of the day, the military options suck.
Oh, they're horrible.
Let me also just further blame President Bush, because why not? But no, because of our invasion of Iraq, that, I think, also is why we have this North Korea problem. Because North Korea sees when you don't have nuclear weapons, Iraq happens to you.
Putin just said as much a few days ago.
Yeah.
He basically made a statement where he said,
where
all we have to
smart
do
man.
is look at Iraq and we know what will happen.
This is when
You know.
Jordan pulls off the mask and it's Putin the whole time. Playing you! I go to every podcast and make them predict wrong. Ha ha ha!
I don't like, though, that everybody in the media just takes it as a given that North Korea, this problem, was going to get to this point. And there was nothing Obama could do. Like, once the Bush administration did their things, at that point, they set us on this path that we couldn't reverse. But it wasn't guaranteed. It wasn't inevitable if you look at what was going on in the 90s.
I think it was. I think after Kim Jong Il died, it was inevitable because Un is a different personality. Un wants different things and had a different way of going about it. So I think the Kim Jong Un setting himself up as uber ruler, that I think that was sort of inevitable. I think that was his path. If Il had stayed alive, not so much. Not so much.
And in Obama's credit, he was trying to calm things down, and everyone was calling him weak.
Right.
You know,
But he was using the Bill Clinton plan to work it, and it worked. You know,
Yeah.
we had no major issues, no one threatening anybody, except for the usual Kim Jong-un threats.
Well, they did a much better job with the sabotaging of the program, I think, during Obama. And, I mean, who knows if it's, if the reason North Korea is now able to have these successful missile launches is because, new administration, and this new administration is inept and can't even sabotage North Korea's missile program anymore. That's one explanation. Another explanation has to do with Ukrainian rocket engineers selling, their rocket designs
Or
to
another
North Korea.
explanation is they learned from their past mistakes and are smart people too.
Right.
There's always that.
Yeah.
But I think another big issue is the fractured relationship with China has resulted in our China stopgap to North Korea kind of eroding as well.
Well, did anybody see that? China got glazed over in the news. China came out with a statement that basically laid out what was going to happen. If we do a preemptive strike, they're all in. They're against us.
Yeah.
If North Korea does a strike, they'll stay back, but it's their call on if that was mainland America or an American territory. It's China's call. So if he goes and hits Guam, game's up in the air. Is China in? Is China out? Is it only mainland America? And they're putting out these messages towards America saying, hey, you're not just fighting North Korea if you guys go in.
Right. And what have we been saying for years? That China can screw us far more than we can screw China.
Sure.
So we should be wrapping this up pretty soon. Rob has to go. Jordan has to go back and run Russia.
I got to get to Taco Bell.
That's true, because those new kosher chalupas.
Oh, they're the best. the jalupas?
The jalupas?
Great.
With that weird not cottage cheese cream sauce that apparently Rob discovered.
That was Gretchen.
Straight from Israel.
Gretchen's
Straight from
book.
Israel.
Okay.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jordan.
Is that all our clips? Really?
Yeah,
We're going to end on that one?
We're going to end on that one.
On our rally.
It was the big
we
end of the
ended
rally.
on a positive note.
Yes. Hey, you got a gubernatorial candidate to come on. You got to have more now, though. But no,
I'd like to get the what's his name? Shri Thanadar. Thanadar?
I would like to get him.
Thanadar.
I think it's, even though it's TH, I think it's just Thanadar.
All right, so
I met him back in February. I had no idea who he was. We were at the thing, and he started saying like he's going to run for office. I'm like, oh wow, city councilor, no governor.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good for you.
Right.
And
But
he's making a run at it with
I
this
heard
much money.
He seems cool.
Yeah.
So
he's a nice guy.
We'll work to get him on. So all right.
Cool. So thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Gretchen, Rob, John. Let's keep that bar low like always, and for another 100.
You're looking bad. They're looking bad. Too many people looking bad. They're looking bad. They're looking bad. Too many people looking bad.
Subscribe to the No Cry Zone on iTunes and Stitcher and at abnormalentertainment.com/NoCryZone. Find the No Cry Zone on Facebook and tweet at No Cry Zone. email nocryzonepodcast@gmail.com. And for more podcasts, comics, books, movies, and more, head to abnormalentertainment.com.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.